I I feel like my butthole's tightening up just a little bit.
It's the snap. Hands it to Elliott, who goes sweeping to the left side. Gets to the 20, loose to the 30, to the 40, down the left side to the 50 goes Elliott. He's going to take it to the house. 30, 20, 10. Touchdown, Ezekiel Elliott.
It's basketball time at the Cube.
Columbus, Ohio! Hear this worldwide!
Back is Dorsey to throw. Grabbed, he throws it in the end zone. And it's incomplete. The Buckeyes win the national championship. Bring the juice.
Get juiced up. Here we go.
Juice. Who got it? I got it. Buckeye Nation. Let's go. Juice, juice, juice. Who got it? Juice, juice, juice. I got it. Juice, juice, juice. We got it. Them boys are loose, cuz you know we keep it juiced up.
Hey, sports fans! Welcome into your Tuesday afternoon edition of With an Ohio Bias Live. You got Aaron here with...
Goodman Greg.
How you guys doing out there in Radio Land? Hope you're doing well. Greg, how you been?
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good. Glad to be back. I took a couple-week hiatus from being on air live here at Score on Air Studios, but I'm doing good. Glad to be back and getting ready for the holidays.
Yeah, I didn't do any shows last week because of mitigating circumstances. So it's nice to be back and talking sports. We got a little bit of a year-end wrap-up for you here on the next 2 weeks of With an Ohio Bias, and that's going to extend to the Tuesday and Thursday editions of both this week and next week. First, I think, we could talk a little bit about current stuff, though. You okay with that, Greg?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right, well, let's start out, as you can see on your handy little segment sheet there, with Ezekiel Elliott celebrating by jumping into the Salvation Army pots in the end zone. For those of you who didn't catch it or might not have heard, in the end zone of the Dallas Cowboys stadium, they put a giant, I guess for lack of a better word, human-sized pot, like Salvation Army red pot like you see at the grocery stores this time of year, to bring awareness to the Salvation Army and their drive every year to collect money for their cause. And Zeke scored a touchdown, and he ran over and jumped in the pot. Kind of crouched down and goofed around with it a little bit, and he got a penalty flag for 15 yards. And there was talk that he was going to get a fine. Ultimately, he did not get a fine. And he said he was going to donate however much he got fined, match that, and donate to Salvation Army. He's still going to donate to the Salvation Army. I believe it's $21,000 is what he said he's going to donate. But my thing is celebration, flags, and the double standard that the NFL, screw it, I'm just going to say it, the double standard that what they choose to crack down on and what they choose not to crack down on. And I think that this particular Zeke celebration, not only did it bring awareness to a charity, but it was funny, and it was, innocent. If you saw it, did you see it?
I did not watch the game live. I did see it afterward, though. I watched it today.
Yeah, like where he, they show it, and he like jumps in, and then he kind of pops out. It was funny. It was goofy. And I just think that the way they crack down on these celebrations is kind of ridiculous. I mean, don't you think?
No, I agree. Taylor and I talked about this earlier on the league today, and it's just one of those where I don't understand why the NFL wastes energy at all in terms of excessive celebration after a touchdown. Like, I can get, a delay game if you're celebrating after a first down or this, that, and the other. But if you score a touchdown, that's like what the whole point of playing the game is. So you're so excited. I don't understand how they have all these rules. You can't have multiple people on the ground. You can't do this, can't do that. Then if you do it, one, it's a penalty, but also you can get fined afterward. And it's just like I know you have some stuff written here. The league has so many other issues they need to be worrying about that they don't need to be worried about this. And you even compare it to other sports like football, soccer across the country or across the world. People, they score a goal, you see them piling on top of each other, just going crazy, like just super excited, and all they have team celebrations and all this, and the crowd loves it. All the fans enjoy watching them do that. Meanwhile, you have the NFL where they have to be iffy on what they do, or therefore they're going to get a penalty or a fine. And it's just, I can understand if something was derogatory or if it was putting down the other team, but as long as it's innocent, just exactly like Zeke's instance, this past weekend, I don't see why the league should just let it slide and let them celebrate how they want to.
Yeah, and the things they focus on, and if I'm getting this right or reading this right, they don't like them to celebrate because they want them to set a good example for kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the NFL, is it really for kids when you think about it? I mean, kids watch it. I watched the NFL, but their main sponsor is, Anheuser-Busch. It's a violent sport, and the fans are not exactly, I'm not saying NFL fans aren't classy because I'm an NFL fan, you're an NFL fan, but NFL fans can be crude. I don't necessarily know that an NFL game is necessarily the best place for a child. In some instances, depending on where you're sitting. You can take a small child to an NFL game, especially if you take them to someplace like a Bills game where the fans are just insane people. And I don't see how dancing in the end zone is setting a bad example for a kid. You know what is setting a worse example is people who abuse women and don't receive a 1-game suspension or aren't blacklisted, from the league. And it's kind of a double standard to me, and I just don't I don't understand how they can be all holier than thou on one issue like this and kind of just turn the other cheek when, the Giants kicker, admits to regularly beating his wife and needs a 1-game suspension. Like, come on.
Yeah, Taylor and I, because he brought up that same exact point. He brought up the Giants kicker only getting the 1 game. He brought up Tom Brady serving 4 games just for deflating a football. We talked about Ray Rice missing just out of the league entirely now and probably won't ever get back in because of his video that surfaced. We talked about Greg Hardy, missing time but actually getting back into the league. And so it's just all these, and it's hard to compare all of these side by side. Yes, they kind of happen about the same time, but there's different circumstances for each one. Like the reason they cracked down on Tom Brady is because they were setting an example of the Patriots.
Deflategate is a whole separate thing from the domestic abuse things that are happening.
Yeah, so it's hard to necessarily be like, oh, okay, this got just a $25,000 fine, but this is like, I'm blacklisted. So it's hard to compare, but at the same time, they have all these things they need to take in consideration and find some way to fix them and sort them out. Because right now, there's so many things going on that Roger Goodell needs less power, first off. I don't understand why he's passing out all the punishment for all these. And he's not just doing the punishment, he's giving out the punishment, and then when they appeal them, he's also in charge of the appeal as well.
Judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah, so it really doesn't make any sense. So they just need to find some sort of way to get less pressure off of him, and I don't know how they're going to do it, but find a way where they could evenly sort through all these problems, put rules in place, and somehow fix, because we're one of the worst run organizations, even though they're one of the most profitable organizations in the country. Just from a typical what they do everyday standpoint, they're not well run.
I will agree with you there. You mentioned Deflategate. There was a similar incident that came to light this last week. We're going to get into it when we come back from the break. Stay right here on the new generation of Sports Talk Radio, ScoreOnAir.com.
This is Bob McElligott, the radio voice of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and you're listening to the new generation of Sports Talk Radio, ScoreOnAir.com, The Score.
Listen to ScoreOnAir.com for your chance to win. Every Friday, we will be giving away a prize pack, and here's how you can qualify. Send us a message with your name, phone number, email, and date of birth to our Facebook or Twitter accounts. Just search Your Score on Air, or you can call or text any of our live shows at 614-641-0674 and tell them you want to win. It's that easy. A new winner will be selected every Friday at 7 p.m. This is your home for the new generation of sports talk radio and weekly prize giveaways. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
A small village in Romania. After the 8th grade, students desiring to attend high school must pay their own way for transportation. From the village of Mochu to Cluj to Apahita, it costs $350 American per year per child for the bus ride of over 1 hour each way. With your help, 8 Roma children will be able to accomplish something their parents and grandparents could not do. Most of their parents have not received an elementary education. This year, 3 boys and 5 girls can have that chance to attend high school. Will you help? Please make a donation of whatever you can to help these 8 children get their high school education. Make your donations payable to Worthington Presbyterian Church, 773 North High Street, Worthington, Ohio, 43085, and add on the memo line bus transportation. Your donation will make a dream become a reality.
In the Underground Vault in December, the Black and White New Year's Eve celebration at the Doubletree Hilton. Entertainment by DJ Dami Huge Deal Styles, Local Soul Sessions, and hosted by Meek Perry. Celebrate New Year's Eve on your A game. It's the Black and White New Year's Eve celebration, 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. at 175 Hutchinson Avenue, Columbus, Ohio, 43235. For additional information, call 614-622-7952. That's 614-622-7952.
Are you someone who has always dreamed of a career in sports media? The Ohio Media School now offers a 6-month sports emphasis program to prepare you for a whole new career. Whether it's radio or television, play-by-play or production, the Ohio Media School has you covered. You will receive training from professionals that are actually in the industry. The Ohio Media School will get you where you need to be for a successful career in this exciting, expanding field. To schedule a visit, call 614-655-5250 or go to beonair.com. Stop dreaming about a career in sports and make it a reality at the Ohio Media School.
Hey guys, Matty Ice here, proud alum of the Ohio Media School. Get the training you need to get a job you will love. The Ohio Media School has classes in radio, television, sports broadcasting, and film and video production. Visit beonair.com today to get started. That's beonair.com.
Come out and join us at Flavor 91 for their grand opening. Flavor 91 is located at 5186 East Main Street, Whitehall, Ohio. Flavor 91 is a burger bistro and offers such beverages as beer and wine. Again, the grand opening is September 15, 2016 at 1 p.m. 5186 East Main Street, Whitehall, Ohio. Join us at Flavor 91.
Get the sports you want, when you want. Broadcasting all day and night. You're home for the latest sports news and updates. You're listening to ScoreOnAir.com.
Everybody knows there's not a better time of year. Hear that sleigh, Santa's on his way. Hip hip hooray for Christmas vacation.
So jolly. It's Christmas time up in here. Welcome back to With an Ohio Bias Live, your Tuesday afternoon edition. I'm Aaron. And we got good man Greg over here with me today. Thanks for sitting in, Greg.
Not a problem.
I guess you're regular on here. I don't have to thank you for sitting in anymore.
Yeah.
You're on here now.
It's kind of official.
Yeah, it is official. Before the break, we were talking a little bit about the penalties and punishments for various NFL players and teams, all in sundry. And we touched a little bit on, we mentioned Deflategate, but we didn't really get into it. But did you hear about the Ben McAdoo walkie-talkie incident?
I did. I heard about it briefly. I kind of heard what happened, but I didn't hear if there was anything else that followed that.
He's going to get fined. It's horrible of me to not backsell this. I'm sorry. He was using a walkie-talkie to communicate with Eli Manning. And that is it's like an equipment violation, I believe is exactly what it is. Because according to the rules, talk between the coach and the quarterback has to be cut off 15 seconds before the play begins. And so the thinking is that the walkie-talkie, he could theoretically use it to talk to Tom Brady right up to the play. And they expect it to be a fine. And I can see if it's just a fine, possible backlash because of Deflategate. Because we all know what happened with Tom Brady and Deflategate, which was a 4-game suspension. And I don't ever think with Deflategate, was there ever even conclusive evidence that he was
I don't think
part
so.
of it? I mean, like, I never heard of that.
Anything.
Yeah. So
I think it was just because he didn't comply with their investigation, I think, not
more
handing over the phone and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I mean, I can see it being, I feel like I can see it being something similar because it is an equipment issue the same way that was. But at the same time, I think, like I kind of mentioned earlier, with Brady and with the Patriots, I think Goodell was trying to make a statement saying, yes, I'm friends with Kraft, and, this is Tom Brady and the Patriots, the team of the last decade or more that's been doing the best. I think he had to make a statement with them. I don't think he's going to have to make the same statement in this situation, but I'm curious kind of if there are going to be suspensions or something passed out, how many it's going to be, because then he could compare it back to Deflategate, and that's going to start a whole other conversation.
Yeah, I think the one main difference between this and Deflategate is that there's evidence. There's a video of him on the sideline using the walkie-talkie, as opposed to Deflategate, where it was just you had to investigate because they were underinflated. We know that there was no video evidence of
who did it and
who did it, and how and why and all that. So that would be, I think, my one exception to the rule for this is the hardcore evidence. So, and then did you hear about McCaffrey and Fournette sitting out?
I did.
Of course you did. You're on top of it.
I'm always on top of it.
Yeah.
Is this something that you like? I know there's two arguments to this side of the story. I wasn't sure which side you sat on. If it would be one where you kind of agree with them, or do you think they should be playing instead of sitting?
Wow. I can understand. I'm actually feel. If it's possible to feel both ways, I feel both ways. I understand. Well, I think they should be playing, with the caveat that I understand if you want to sit out, if you're banking on getting that NFL contract, if you come from a horrible domestic situation, like if you grew up really super poor and you're doing this to lift your family to a better place, and you don't want to jeopardize maybe your one shot at making, some, millions of dollars. I get that. Christian McCaffrey definitely does not come from that situation at all. So, and the other thing about, they are, it makes you kind of really makes you see the bowl situation differently. That's for sure. You can think of it, once you start to think about it after I read the story, it's like, well, when you think about it, they really are kind of just exhibition games.
Yeah, some pointless games.
Yeah. I mean, there's always, you'll think of it as, you get to go to a bowl game, you get to go somewhere warm maybe, unless you're playing in the Motor City Bowl, which then it seems like a punishment and not like a reward. And bowls are always kind of been glorified, but when you start to think about it, what's the Sun Bowl? But yeah.
See, I'm actually pretty strongly agreeing with the players.
Really?
I think the players don't have as much rights as they really should, just because before I can see how a lot of these rules are in place when the sport was kind of just starting, but now that the sport's starting to make so much money, colleges are starting to make so much money from football and basketball in particular, it almost feels like, the coaches get special treatment because they can leave and not get punished, and the schools can do this and this, but the players are just kind of trapped. They're expected to be students, but it's hard for them to be students because they have so much other stuff they have to do. So I'm almost always usually agreeing with the athletes in this, because in this particular situation, I think it's a slippery slope, because once the NCAA starts letting athletes do this, you're going to see more and more of it happen. And it's going to be players that probably aren't going to go pro or this, that, and the other. But at the same time, if a team's making the playoffs, no one's going to be sitting out. I would be very, very, very surprised if someone decided to sit out the playoffs to increase their drafts or to keep their draft stock. So I don't see that being an issue. But in these other games, they really are meaningless. Some of the coaches are saying, well, McCaffrey should play because we need one more game to prove how good he is, or he needs one more game to really show his fans and the scouts how good he is. I'm sorry, if he's played 3 seasons and you need one more game to get that information from him, no. You saw this with the Notre Dame player a year or two ago, blew out his knee in the bowl game, the meaningless bowl game, and that hurt his draft stock. I think he still luckily got drafted in the second round, but he was going to be a top 5 pick, and his name escapes me now.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
But and that's probably not going to happen too many times, but it's already happened, and you don't really want to see that happen again. And so some of these players, like you already said, McCaffrey doesn't really need the money, but his draft stock, you think, could probably only go down unless he goes out and just runs for a bowl record. But especially for Stanford and teams like that, unless it's a playoff bid, these bowls don't mean anything. They have playoff hopes and dreams at the start of the season, unless it's a smaller school, take OU, my alma mater, for example. Going to a bowl game is a cool experience for them because they're never going to make the college football playoffs. And so just making a playoff in general is going to be good for them. But we play in the Dollar General Bowl this year. I know we've made some bowls since I started going to school there. I can't even remember what bowls we went to and who we played. And so, I should be a big fan of that because I'm a big fan of the school. Making the playoffs is cool, but I don't remember the bowls we played and even who we played against. So if it's not even that important for the fans of the smaller schools, it's really not important to the fans the fans of Stanford, who can make the playoffs every year, but just if they have a down year, who cares about the Sun Bowl? 2 or 3 years from now, they aren't even going to remember they played in the Sun Bowl and who they even played. And so, to me, I just think that the players, if they have an actual shot at making, if they're going to be a first-round pick, they should probably just sit out, not risk the injury, still get drafted high. And unless you're a player that, might get drafted, might not, I can see how one more game would really help, especially in it being in a bowl game. But I am 100% on board with McCaffrey and Fournette in this situation.
Would you say the same if it was a big-time bowl?
Are you talking a playoff bowl or one of the other two bowls?
A high-profile bowl. Rose.
Probably. Because now it doesn't mean anything. Yes,
Rose Bowl. Did the Rose Bowl mean anything before, though?
No, but it still had that some sort of, I can't think of the word. It was semi-important. but then you didn't really hear about players doing that before. Everything's changing now. It's not just NCAA. You look at in the NBA, you see people resting all the time. You see like all this stuff happening. It's just becoming such more, and that's why a lot of old school players and old school people think the 90s and everything else was so much better, because it was actual football or actual tough basketball, and like players didn't do this. They didn't take games or plays off. They didn't like blah blah blah. But like now they're calling players soft. They're calling the league soft because they are resting. They're shooting more threes in the NBA and whatnot because it's more analytical and mathematically. You're going to score more points and win more games that way. And it's just everything's evolving. And so this is just where it's going to evolve to. And there's not really any stopping it unless you put a hard rule in place. But that's just kind of wasting time. We could be solving other issues. But I think right now I would still be okay if you were to sit out the Rose Bowl or one of the other two big bowls. That's not part of the Final Four right now.
Do you think you think we're going to see a sea change coming with college football, players sitting out bowls?
Eventually, yeah. I'm not going to say it's every single bowl every single year, but you're going to have a handful of players every year who didn't make the playoffs, know they're going to be a top first round pick, and say, "Yeah, I'm not going to play."
Yeah.
So unless you're like from like if I was from Columbus and was always a die-hard Ohio State fan, played for Ohio State, was like the starting running back for Ohio State, then I would have that loyalty to the school where I might feel like I need to play to represent my school and get that one last trophy for them. But you see a lot of players now, they just go to a school because they were offered a scholarship, and they don't really have that tie to that school. So like winning one more trophy for them and like putting yourself at that risk is not quite worth it to them to make that money.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think you're only going to see it more and more. I don't think it's actually going to go away.
No.
We got to hit a break here. Stick around. We'll be back with Studs and Duds, and then we're going to start our year-end wrap-up. You're listening to With an Ohio Bias live on ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio.
Football is back, and the Score has you covered. Are you ready for some football? The new generation of sports talk radio breaks down every game.
Are you ready for some football?
Only on ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
Hey guys, Matty Ice here, proud alum of the Ohio Media School. Get the training you need to get a job you will love. The Ohio Media School has classes in radio, television, sports broadcasting, and film and video production. Visit BeOnAir.com today to get started. That's BeOnAir.com.
You didn't know? NWA Midwest Championship Wrestling is looking for interns. Have you heard of Ric Flair? Well, this is the company that brought you Ric Flair before he went to the WWE, and we're looking for interns to work behind the scenes hand in hand with production, with audio, with video, and with podcasts and radio. Contact Damon Dury, the big dog, at 740-971-3968.
Nasty Sports Bar in Reynoldsburg is under new management. Located at 6150 East Main Street, the home for Taco Tuesday is rejuvenated and the home for great food and family fun. Nasty Sports Bar is a great place for happy hour, serving $2 domestics, $3 glasses of wine, and $5 appetizers, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call 614-864-2827 to find out the daily specials. Nasty's. Great food, family fun, with a cool name.
Hey guys, Scott Shelton here again, Campus Director for the Ohio Media School. Are you looking for a career in media, radio, television, sports broadcasting, or film and video production? You need to come check out the Ohio Media School's Columbus campus. You want a job that you will love, and we have the training to get you started. Stop by the Ohio Media School's audio and video studios to check out the opportunities and internships that we have for our students and graduates. Call 614-655-5250 or visit BeOnAir.com. That's BeOnAir.com.
The new generation of sports talk radio. Here's your ScoreOnAir.com Score Center update.
This is Greg Brantmeyer with your Score Center update. The Ohio State men's basketball team will look to get back on track tonight when they host Youngstown State at the Schottenstein Center. The Buckeyes have lost 3 of their last 5 games after starting the season 6-0. They will have 2 more chances at home, including tonight's game and Thursday's game against UNC Asheville, to get back on track before their Big Ten schedule begins. With their win against the Vancouver Canucks on Sunday, Columbus Blue Jackets head coach John Tortorella became the first U.S.-born coach to reach 500 wins. They will be looking for Tort's 501st win and extend their NHL-high 9-game winning streak when they play the Los Angeles Kings tonight in Nationwide. LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers will also be in action tonight night when they travel to Milwaukee to take on the Bucks. Head coach Tyronn Lue has already announced that starting power forward Kevin Love will sit out tonight's game due to a left knee contusion he suffered in the team's win against the Lakers on Saturday. Even without Love, the Cavs will be looking to avenge their blowout loss to the Bucks from late November. In Monday Night Football, the Carolina Panthers defeated the Washington Redskins 26-15. Washington needed to win out the rest of their season to clinch a spot in the playoffs. With the loss, they no longer control their own destiny and will now need some help to make it into the playoffs. Meanwhile, the defending NFC champion Panthers are still mathematically in the playoff mix, but they will need some help of their own to make it into the big dance. For all your news, scores, and updates, keep it locked right here on ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio, The Score.
For Christmas Day.
Welcome back into With an Ohio Bias live on this Tuesday afternoon. That is my favorite Christmas song of all time. I'm Aaron. Got Greg with me. We were sitting here, we were just talking about sitting college football players who choose to sit out bowl games. And we we're talking amongst ourselves, talking about the NBA players who sit out and stuff like that. But why don't we move on from that? And maybe we can get into a little bit of studs and duds. You got studs ready?
Yeah.
Or duds ready, or both?
Yeah, I have one for both. Hopefully we don't have the same, or we're going to be a little repetitive, but yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Why don't you start us out? I don't care which one you really start us out with. So go ahead.
All right. I'm just going to start with my stud.
Okay.
It's going to be, I wasn't in here last week when this news broke, but I just wanted to give a shout out to Craig Sager.
Oh, we have the same stud.
Do we? Okay.
Yeah, we could talk about how awesome he was for a little bit, though. That's fine. I think he deserves to be a unanimous 100% stud.
Yes. Everything about him. I mean, I was late kind of getting to everything, so I wasn't knowledgeable of some of his older stuff. But just watching him, especially right up before kind of his whole battle with cancer kind of started, and even since him coming back into the league, and just the rallying unity of all the players around him and the all of his other broadcasting workers, like the other people from the station, and even the ESPN, everyone reaching out and just giving him support. That was just, it's amazing. It's it's sad to see him go, but he did his fight. He fought all he could.
Yeah, and when you have just such an iconic, such a a classy guy. I mean, he could get he tamed the savage beast that was Greg Popovich.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, like if you're if Pop, you're that good at your job and you're that good of a guy, you can break Pop open, like a little Cadbury egg or whatever you want to call it. I mean, that is just awesome. And when he did like his farewell tour in the NBA last summer, was it playoffs? It was during the playoffs or the finals.
I think they brought him for a finals game.
Yeah. And then my parents were at a game that he was at. It was one of the Cavs playoff games. And my mom said that during commercial breaks, they were doing all kinds of stuff for him. And one of the things that they did for him, they put it on the Jumbotron, was they had a little game, and it was Couch or Craig Sager, making like fun of his shirts or whatever, but like in a good way. And they were talking about, I can't remember, there was a guest on Mike and Mike last week, and he was saying that they should rename the interview, the sideline interview that people do, because he kind of coined that interview and kind of, I don't know if he made it up. I mean, obviously, I don't know if he made it up. It was probably like, hey, this is a thing you should do. But he kind of made that his own and started that. And they should change it to call it a Sager interview, like the official. Now we go for the Sager interview. And so I don't know, but yeah, it was. It's rough, and he was a good dude. He will be missed in sports media for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, he definitely he brought the pizzazz with his suits and everything he wore. Like you've seen that interview he did with Kevin Garnett, like after one of the games, and Garnett's like, no, you can't wear any of this. He's like, I want you to take it all home. He's like, and burn it, all of it. He's like, even the socks and the shoes and just like that. So that spunk that he had, that that the relationships he developed with the players and with everyone else, like everyone just knew. Like obviously, I never met him. I didn't know him at all. But from just what I heard, he was just an all around great guy, and he brought that into his interviews and into his broadcasting skills. And I like that idea of naming the Sager interviews. I mean, that'd be a great way to kind of honor him and just keep his spirit alive. So yeah, I'd be totally on board with that.
Yeah, and the other thing about him is, like, well, again, I never met him either, but another thing that I really liked about him is he always seemed like a genuine person. You just see so many people in sports media and media in general that are just, you can tell they're fake and they're putting on an act. And he always just seems so genuine and nice and just like a good guy. And you don't really see that much anymore, so, yeah. Craig Sager, R.I.P. So what you got for your dud?
My dud is I didn't watch this full game, but I did start. I watched the beginning of it, and then I just got to doing other things. But it would be the old Color Rush uniforms for Thursday Night Football.
Oh yeah,
especially this past week's with the Seahawks highlighter green jerseys.
Part of middle school '80s, Aaron. Mm-hmm. Sort of loved it, but sensible adult Aaron was just like, man, that looks like garbage.
Yeah. No, it was actually nice. So you could actually read the numbers. I know they were commenting on that during the game because they have a hard time reading the numbers with every other jersey. But it's just one of those where I don't think there's a reason for it. Because isn't it Nike doing their jerseys now?
Yeah.
So I think Nike just did it. I don't know if the NFL was like, hey, do this, or if they had it under contract. I think there's all right, this year. I know they started it kind of last year, but this year there's all right, every team, every Thursday night, we're doing Color Rush. And it's just, to me, it doesn't make any sense. And they're not going to sell too many more jerseys doing that, I don't think. And it's just, I can get making some outlandish designs, but it's just, I don't like it. And then one team's just white usually, because we had that issue last year where there was a red and a green team, but the colorblind people couldn't tell the difference between the teams because they were both dark colors. So one team's just always white. That's boring. If you're gonna do fun jerseys, don't make one just straight white and the other one cool and fun. But half the time they're not fun. They're highlighter green, or they're puke yellow with Jacksonville, or they're just gross colors. I don't get it. They just need to do away with it entirely.
Yeah, I mean, Color Rush, white is not a Color Rush.
No.
I mean, I guess technically white is all the colors put together.
Yeah.
Yes. Art school Aaron coming out, and black is the absence of color. But you're right, it's boring, and it's get rid of it. I'm with you, man. It's not. I mean, who's running out and buying a Color Rush jersey from seeing it on Thursday? Oh, that was so cool. I need one of those highlighter green jerseys. I'm going to run out. Is that really making enough money for you to offset the cost of them?
I did see a couple people in the stands with them on. And that one I can get, because the Seahawks, that lime green, is a really cool color. Yeah. And it's kind of different than all the other colors in the rest of the league. And so I can get that one. But some of these other ones that are just just straight black, the 49ers was just black.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
And different things like that. So that's why I'm just some of them are just ugly and stupid, and I don't get it. So I'm just you can't be selling that many jerseys. Just come up with a unique idea that you can still do a really cool Thursday night game with cool, extravagant jerseys, but not just one straight nasty color on the pants and this jersey and everything. Just make it one singular color. It's not a good look.
So you mentioned the black 49ers jerseys. How did you feel about the black Ohio State jerseys?
I think, let's see. I liked them, actually. I liked them more than the one throwback jersey they did towards the end of the season.
Oh, at the Nebraska game with the stripes?
Yeah. I wasn't a huge fan of those. I didn't totally hate those, but I don't mind the black jerseys when you do them right.
Okay.
If you put, with Ohio State, it had, the red outline and the white numbers. So, when you fancy it up or, make it cool, especially when they had the black helmets, which I like the black helmets with the black jerseys. I didn't like the black helmets in the Michigan game. That seemed a little over the top and unnecessary.
Yeah.
But I don't mind the black jerseys when you do them right. When you just slap black everywhere and just put I think it was just a red number, not even an outline. It was just a red number on the black jersey for the 49ers. It was just too much.
It looked a little I don't want to say remedial. It's not the word I'm looking for. Old-fashioned, I guess, maybe, or just they weren't trying. Like a high school jersey almost. So, my dud for the week is the Ohio State Buckeyes against the UCLA Bruins, the men's basketball team, because they were in that game for right up until halftime. At halftime, I think they were only down by 3. And then UCLA just went on like an 8-point run, and then Ohio State just kind of never really came back from it. But 8 points isn't really that much, you know? But they it was like they lost their mojo, and it was really a good opportunity for them to prove themselves against the number 2 team in the country. And, you know, UCLA is playing hot right now, and I was really hoping to see them put up some kind of fight, and I was kind of disappointed. So
yeah, I mean, I think I wasn't too worried about. I didn't watch that game. I was in Cincinnati this weekend, moving my girlfriend out of her apartment, and so which was actually a whole funny story in and of itself. But so I watched like 2 minutes of that game because we had to go into the Time Warner cable store, and they just happened to have the game on, so I watched it while she talked with the representative and whatnot. So I didn't really watch too much of the game, but to me, I think losing that game doesn't. I wasn't totally expecting a win there. Yes, a win would have been nice to kind of prove ourselves, but I don't think we're anywhere near championship level yet. I think UCLA is. I don't think we are. But I think losing 3 of the last 5. I know one was Virginia, and that was close, but like barely getting that win, or actually losing to Florida Atlantic. And I know we beat UConn after that, which was kind of a good win. But I think that whole stretch is cause for concern, not just the one loss to UCLA.
I will totally agree with you there. The Virginia game, I watched that. That was a good game. I did not watch the Florida Atlantic game, but I feel like we should have won that. But yeah, we'll see. I know a lot of people are saying with Thad Matta's past his prime. He's some people are calling for him to not step down, but like not be here after this season because he's just not being an effective coach anymore. And I don't know if I would go that far. But yeah, I hope they get their stuff together. And again, it goes back to the whole, I mean, nothing really to be concerned about just yet. Big Ten play hasn't started yet.
The Big Ten's a very good basketball conference as well as a football conference. I know I'm looking through the schedule right now, and a couple of the teams aren't ranked as high as they were to start the season, but you still have some very good teams with Purdue, Wisconsin, Michigan State's usually pretty good, Michigan, Maryland, and so we'll play all of them multiple times. And so I think we still have some chances and some games to prove ourselves, prove that we have improved since last year, and that we could make the Big Dance in some way, shape, or form, whether it's an automatic bid or whether we can try to get hot and win the Big Ten tourney. But we'll see. We still have a lot of chances in front of us. But yeah, winning the UCLA game would have helped. Yeah.
All right, we got to hit a break. We ran a little long. Keep it locked right here. When we come back, we are going to get into the 2016 year in sports review. You're listening to With an Ohio Bias on the new generation of sports talk radio, ScoreOnAir.com.
Football is back, and the Score has you covered. Are you ready for some football? The new generation of sports talk radio breaks down every game, every week.
Are you ready for some football?
Only on ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
Are you a sports fan looking to expand your sports memorabilia collection? Well, First and Goal has you covered better than the Ohio State Secondary. First and Goal is your #1 place to find all the sports collectibles of your dreams. We are located at Polaris Fashion Place in Columbus and the mall at Fairfield Commons of Beaver Creek. Stop on in and you'll find autographed jerseys, helmets, photographs, and much more that will make you the envy of the neighborhood. Feel free to give us a call at 614-896-1016 for our store at Polaris, or call us at 937-427-4737 in Beaver Creek. For all your sports collectibles and more, it's First and Goal.
Listen to ScoreOnAir.com for your chance to win. Every Friday, we will be giving away a prize pack, and here's how you can qualify. Send us a message with your name, phone number, email, and date of birth to our Facebook or Twitter accounts. Just search Your Score on Air, or you can call or text any of our live shows at 614-641-0674 and tell them you want to win. It's that easy. A new winner will be selected every Friday at 7 p.m. This is your home for the new generation of sports talk radio and weekly prize giveaways. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
Hey guys, Scott Shelton here again, Campus Director for the Ohio Media School. Are you looking for a career in media, radio, television, sports broadcasting, or film and video production? You need to come check out the Ohio Media School's Columbus campus. You want a job that you will love, and we have the training to get you started. Stop by the Ohio Media School's audio and video studios to check out the opportunities and internships that we have for our students and graduates. Call 614-655-5250 or visit beonair.com. That's beonair.com.
Tune into The League with Taylor and Greg every Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. on scoreonair.com. It's your home for stupid sound effects, lukewarm sports takes, and a bunch of people talking about nothing.
Is that a thing?
I think it's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
We're
Gotta
gonna
make it a thing.
We're gonna make it a thing. I don't care. It's a thing now.
Only on The League, right here on scoreonair.com, the new generation of sports talk radio, The Score.
Are you someone who has always dreamed of a career in sports media? The Ohio Media School now offers a 6-month sports emphasis program to prepare you for a whole new career. Whether it's radio or television, play-by-play or production, the Ohio Media School has you covered. You will receive training from professionals that are actually in the industry. The Ohio Media School will get you where you need to be for a successful career in this exciting, expanding field. To schedule a visit, call 614-655-5250 or go to beonair.com. Stop dreaming about a career in sports and make it a reality at the Ohio Media School.
Welcome back in to With an Ohio Bias Live, your Tuesday edition year-end sports wrap-up. Oh, hey, I'm Aaron.
I'm Goodman Greg.
Greg here. Guess what? Score wants to make you a winner. Each week, scoreonair.com is giving away a prize pack. Like us on Facebook, and every Monday we will pin a post to the top of our feed with that week's prize and the contest details. What's that? How to qualify? Message us on Facebook at Your Score on Air or on Twitter, also with the handle Your Score on Air. Give us your name, your phone number, your email, and your date of birth. Or, if that's not your thing, you can call us on the phone or text us on the phone when we are live anytime, 614-641-0674, and just say you want to be qualified to win the pack. A new winner is picked every week at 7 p.m. on our Combat Sports show, which is cleverly named Tyson's Punch-Out, because he's Tyson. It's combat sports. You get it. So give us a call or text to get qualified on your home for the new generation of sports talk radio and weekly prize giveaways. ScoreOnAir.com, hashtag #TheScore. This week's prize pack is a t-shirt from the Driven Foundation, a pair of sunglasses from Dick's Sporting Goods, and some City Barbecue sides. Pretty nice t-shirt, actually. It's like an homage t-shirt. It's nice and soft and well made, and you can, when you wear it, you'll be pimping the Driven Foundation, which is pretty cool. It was founded by former Buckeyes Roy Hall and Antonio Smith to basically just give back to the community. This past weekend, they did a food drive at Moeller Elementary on Saturday, and they gave away a box of food to, I think it was 200 or 250 families in need. And they had some left over, which they gave to local food banks. Clay and I went out there to do some interviews and take some video footage so we can make a little video about it, put it up on our website. Everybody that we interviewed there was really cool. It was a really good, fun, positive atmosphere. And man, I tell you what, that Roy Hall, whew. Have you ever heard him speak, been around him, Greg?
No, I have not. I was not here when he spoke last week, or a couple weeks ago, with car issues and whatnot. But no.
Every time I've had the pleasure to be around him, he's always so positive and inspiring. Like, even just talking to him for the very brief time that we did, I got done talking to him and I felt like I could go run through a brick wall. He's a good dude doing good things. If you're interested in volunteering or donating, go check out the Driven Foundation's website. So, Greg, 2016 is coming to a close. How do you feel about that? Are you one of these people that's like, oh, 2016 is the worst year ever, and I can't wait for it to be over, and people are like, F you, 2016. You know why I can't wait for 2016 to be over? So I can stop hearing people complain about how bad 2016 has been. Because I'm sick of it. You know what? Time is just a human construct. It doesn't mean anything. Things are going to be crappy in 2017, too. But you know what? I had a pretty damn good 2016. And yeah, lots of celebrities died, and, you know, the whole, can't go into politics, but some people didn't like the results of the election. I don't want to go into politics here, but, you know, just there was a lot of terror attacks, a lot of crappy things did happen around the world in 2016, but that does not damper my enthusiasm for the year that is 2016. I had a hell of a year. In my personal world, me as a person, I started and graduated the broadcasting program here at OMS. I met a lot of cool people. I started doing sports talk radio. It was a life-changing year for me, and it's been freaking awesome. So all you people who are letting the 2016 get you down, don't be such crybabies. Suck it up. Look at the good things in life. Sorry, tirade over.
No, it's definitely weird. Every year, this time of year comes around, I'm just like, what happened to this year? Like, how did that even happen? Every year just goes by that much faster. And so, yeah, I agree. It was definitely a good year for me. So I'm not sad to see it go, but I'm excited for next year to come. So I'm looking forward to 2017.
Crazy year in sports, too. I mean, a lot of crazy things happened. We lost a lot of, as we touched on earlier, Craig Sager. But that's next week. Next week we're going to go into the individuals. But right now, let's focus the rest of the show on looking back at what happened with teams in sports, teams and groups. And I kind of wrote this up chronologically, but we don't have to go chronologically if you don't want to. I started in January with the Astros data hack information coming out, and then I wrote that, and then I looked at it later, and I was like, you know what, that happened, but I don't care about the Astros. It was like a big thing, but But one thing I did care about was Alabama winning the national championship. And they're back in the hunt this year, and I feel like Alabama is just perpetually locked and loaded.
Every year.
And I can't see them going anytime soon.
Not while Saban's still there.
That was going to be my caveat. It's going to be Saban leaving. And I don't necessarily know that I see him leaving anytime soon. Where would he go?
Why would he? Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a pretty plum job there, and people love him, and he does great things there. So I think he's pretty much locked in for the next next.
I would say there's three schools
years
that the coach, like Saban will never leave Bama. I don't know why Urban would ever leave Ohio State. And the same thing with Jim Harbaugh leaving Michigan, at least for now.
Ooh.
I think if he goes anywhere, he's going to go back to the pros a few years down the road. But in terms of college, he's at his peak right now. It's alma mater. It's a big time school playing against Urban and everything else. I think those three. Everyone else could potentially leave for another school, but I think those three are set. Saban doesn't have a reason to go anywhere. So yeah, I think he's going to be locked there till he retires.
So you think Urban will stay for a while, huh?
Yeah, unless where's he going to go back to the pros? But you could. But I mean, I just feel like he's going to make as much money staying at Ohio State. He's going to have the success. I mean, he's already had mad success. He's only been there 5 years, and so I think there's no other college that's going to compete with him besides Alabama and Saban. And I think that's an interesting rivalry. But unless he goes to the pros, if he's not going to have success there, he might get paid at the college level. So I don't see him leaving, at least for a little while.
Yeah. I think when he initially came in, he signed a 7-year deal. It was like 7 or 8. I remember it was under 10, and I remember going, oh no, I hope he renews that when the time comes, or unless he gets, health problems again. and leaves or decides he wants to retire early, but I hope he stays. I hope he stays for a while. And Harbaugh, remember that brief time last week for like 3 days when people were talking about Harbaugh going to the Rams?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do.
I never believed it.
No, it doesn't make any sense right now. I can see him having the pool going back to the pros, because you saw Saban and Urban go to the pros and not have success, so they went back down to college.
I don't think Urban ever went to the pros, did he?
Okay. Well, at least I'm not.
Yeah, I think
totally
he
sure.
went.
At least Saban did.
Yeah, Saban did.
Saban
yeah.
went pros and didn't have success and jumped back down. I think he only had the one season with the Dolphins, or whatever it was.
He did.
But Harbaugh had that successful season. He was inches away from winning the Super Bowl when he lost to his brother in the Ravens.
Yeah,
and
the
so I
Harbaugh.
think he knows he can have that success. The year he got fired was the only year he didn't bring the Niners to the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
The first 3 years there, he went to the NFC Championship, had one bad season, then was out. And so I think he's tasted that success. He thinks he knows he can get there. So he would only leave Michigan if he could get to a team where he could win a Super Bowl within 3 to 4 years, because that's probably what his time frame is. Like, people just can't coach it, or owners and GMs can't handle him for that much longer. That's why he works in college, because the athletes don't have to deal with him for longer than like 3 years. And so I think LA doesn't make any sense for him. Los Angeles itself doesn't have the pool like it used to with like the Lakers and everything else like back in the day. And I think they're not set. Their GM and their owners and like that whole upper management isn't ready to win a title. That they don't have the pieces there to win a title. So I don't see Harbaugh leaving, especially for there. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Speaking of LA, another thing happened this year. The LA regained a football team. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we come back. See you in about 4. You're listening to With an Ohio Bias live on the new generation of Sports Talk Radio.
You're listening to the home of heart-pounding, adrenaline-pumping sports. Broadcasting from Ohio Media School in the greatest city in the state. In the greatest state in the country.
In the greatest country in the world.
You're listening to ScoreOnAir.com. You're listening to ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio in Columbus.
Online sports radio, WSOA ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
Listen to ScoreOnAir.com for your chance to win. Every Friday, we will be giving away a prize pack, and here's how you can qualify. Send us a message with your name, phone number, email, and date of birth to our Facebook or Twitter accounts. Just search Your Score on Air, or you can call or text any of our live shows at 614-641-0674 and tell them you want to win. It's that easy. A new winner will be selected every Friday at 7 p.m. This is your home for the new generation of sports talk radio and weekly prize giveaways. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
Hey guys, Matty Ice here, proud alum of the Ohio Media School. Get the training you need to get a job you will love. The Ohio Media School has classes in radio, television, sports broadcasting, and film and video production. Visit BeOnAir.com today to get started. That's BeOnAir.com.
What's good, Big Game James?
How you feeling, D.O. Jr.?
My guy, I'm super excited. High school sports is starting back, man.
Man, I'm even more excited because we got this new show starting. Tell the people what we doing, D.O. Jr.
Man, we starting the Central Ohio High School Showcase, the COHSS.
That's right. We're covering football, basketball, baseball, soccer, volleyball, and track and field. If it's in season, we own it.
Hey, you know we do this for the kids, man. You can listen live by going to ScoreOnAir.com via the TuneIn app, or watch us streaming live by going to the Score On Air YouTube channel,
the COHSS, giving you nothing less, showcasing Central Ohio's best.
Are you a sports fan? Do you have a mobile phone? Great, that's all you need to stay up to date with ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio, with original talk shows starting every 2 hours, covering every sport from every angle.
From basketball
to hockey
to martial arts
to fantasy football.
We cover all Ohio sports. Just go to ScoreOnAir.com or download the TuneIn Radio app and search Score On Air. You'll be part of the action in no time. Whether you're stuck in traffic, at the grocery store, studying at the library, anywhere for that matter. Tune in anytime to get your sports fix. Follow us on social media or go to scoreonair.com for even more original content, including play-by-play of local high school and college games, sports articles, and podcasts. Scoreonair.com is your home for the best analysis, coverage, and lukewarm sports takes. The best part, we're broadcasting live right here in Columbus.
OH.
Scoreonair.com, the new generation of sports talk radio.
The Score.
Xmas has been X, no colored lights, no shopping sprees, no more presents under dead trees. Saint Nick is dead, but we don't grieve. We celebrate the last Christmas Eve.
Welcome in to ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio. You are listening to With an Ohio Bias Live, your Tuesday edition special year-end wrap-up show. I'm Aaron. Got Greg here with me. We left it on a Rams note because we had a little geographical move in the NFL this year. St. Louis Rams became the LA Rams. And a lot of people in St. Louis were PO'd, and rightly so. As a Browns fan, I felt their pain immensely. It was weird having been... Now, the Rams moved back to St. Louis, from LA. Before that, I think it was in like the mid to late 90s. But, they went out and said, we're here, for the long run. The owner was a St. Louis native. He was named after Stan Musial. Stan Musial. Stan Kroenke is his name. He was named after Stan Musial, was, a St. Louis Cardinals legend, baseball legend. And he married a Walton. So he's pretty rich. And he decided that he needed even more money and moved the Rams to LA. Which I don't get it. LA doesn't seem like a big football town to me. When I think of LA sports, I think of basketball, especially the Lakers and the Dodgers. That's like LA sports to me. But I felt their pain, and I remember being in limbo and not having a team and then not having a team in Cleveland, and it was weird. And I didn't become a Ravens fan. I just didn't really have a team. And when they came back, I was a Browns fan again. And I'm seriously questioning my life choices.
No, I thought LA was eventually going to get a team. I know, I know the Rams used to be there. And I know, like you said, I recognize the Lakers and the Dodgers as LA teams. But you look, they're all kind of glitzy and glamoury. Lakers always kind of have that. Even the Clippers with like Blake Griffin and CP3 kind of throwing up lobs and slamming it down. That's kind of their own unique thing. But I think the Rams, I don't know if the city's going to back the Rams that much. Especially, because they're not... I mean, I know they're from there before, but they aren't necessarily established there now. Like, I don't really see a lot of LA people wearing Rams jerseys around, especially with their style of play of just win ugly and try to run the ball. Like, it's just... To me, that doesn't seem glitzy and glamoury like the other teams. So it's a weird fit to me.
Jared Goff?
Yeah.
He's not glamorous?
No. He's not.
Not at all. And then now they're talking about Gruden. They're reaching out to Gruden to coach. And every time a coaching vacancy comes up, everybody's like, oh, Gruden's going to take it. Do you think? I don't think Gruden's going to take it. I mean...
No, he would go somewhere that's... Like, to me, LA, you're not going to win short-term in LA. It's going to take a while. And he's been out of the league for 10 years. If he's going to come back, he's going to come back to somewhere where there's pieces and somewhere where he has a chance. And I don't see LA being that for a few years. I don't even really see him come back at all.
I don't
because
either.
It's been this long, but especially not to the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to great job as an analyst. You know, an analyst for ESPN is much easier and less stressful than being a head coach.
Yes.
Well, if not, I'm sure that is a stressful job as well, but a lot less stressful than being an NFL head coach, for sure. We have a special guest here in studio with us, joining us from the trenches of the hallways of Ohio Media School. It's Clax.
You know what? I'm honored to be on this show, truly. Well, I heard you guys talking about stressful jobs, right? That's the only thing I heard when I walked in.
Yeah, that's it. We're doing a little year-end retrospective.
Well, I got a tough job for you.
Okay.
Being me every day. You know how hard it is to wake up this perfect every single day. I wake up this. People are like, "Oh, he's just a normal guy. He puts his pants on one leg at a time like everyone else." Not me. I have a butler. Both pants wet. Both legs at the same time.
Both pants?
Both pants. Yeah, I wear 2 pairs of pants. What of it? And that's just how it goes.
Right on. So yeah. So not only did the Rams move back to LA, but we're moving this right along. But you might have something to add to this next point.
Okay.
The next point we're going to hit on is the Super Bowl. Broncos won the Super Bowl against the Panthers, who last year, I think the Panthers were good enough to have beaten them. I think their defense won that championship. And Peyton Manning played on that team, but he did not necessarily win that Super Bowl for them at all.
I was rooting for the Broncos, though.
Were you really?
Yeah, I was like, it'd be cool to see Peyton win one more, especially how he lost the one to the Seahawks a couple years before that.
Yeah.
And so I was rooting for him, so I was glad to see him go out kind of on top. Just right. I know he wasn't his normal Peyton self, but the defense was definitely good enough to win it. I think the more interesting story is the Panthers this year, how they're just like garbage compared to how good they looked last year, which is no one really saw that fully coming.
Yeah, they were like fire last year and nothing this year. And I will agree with you, like Peyton, I was rooting for Peyton, but I can't bring myself to root for the Broncos because of the Browns' history. But if Peyton, I mean, that's the way to go out, man. Like, if you're going to retire, go out on top, right, Clax?
No.
No?
I like the Brett Favre approach a lot. Like, just keep going, and then
go to the team that your team's enemy.
Yeah, just keep going.
Retire and come back 14 times.
Yeah, I think you should retire, get elected to the Hall of Fame, and then be like, ha-ha, I'm coming back. Because you have to wait like 5 years. So wait 5 years, and then come back. Pull fast one on them. That's what I would do.
Get a Wrangler, endorse Wrangler jeans, and put a dick pic up, and then be like, hey, guess what, I'm back.
My jeans don't cut into my crotch because it's got a U shape and not a V shape. I'm Brett Favre.
It allows me to play football so much better.
Who plays football in jeans?
In copper fit.
Yeah.
Copper fit
And
he
a razor or something.
Yeah, there
too.
you go. Some sort of
Yeah.
He has all sorts of
making money. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, you guys are great. I love you.
You don't want to stay till the end of the segment?
Nah.
He's out.
Okay. You have important things to do?
Yeah.
Okay, bye. Don't come back ever. Miss you. Anyway, but the Panthers looked okay last night. But
I didn't watch it, yeah.
They looked okay last night. I think it was the Redskins that looked more. I think the Redskins looked bad and the Panthers looked okay. So Redskins been a team to watch, but they're just kind of pissing down their legs right now.
Yeah.
But
the Super Bowl was interesting last year because the job I was working, I had one kid who was just a big Broncos fan, which he also makes me mad because he's a big Lakers fan too, and like just doesn't make any sense with his fandoms or whatnot. But he's a big Broncos fan, and then there's a girl who is from Carolina, so she's a big Panthers fan. So watching them kind of duke it out that like a couple weeks because of the Pro Bowl and everything. So the couple weeks leading up to the Super Bowl was kind of an interesting aspect from my point of view watching that last year too. But it was I was glad to see, like I said before, glad to see Peyton kind of reach the mountaintop and kind of ride off into the distance on a white Bronco.
Yeah. In a white Bronco? What?
Well, I was thinking like a horse, not like in a Bronco.
I know. I was making an O.J. Simpson dig there. Hope we don't see him in any white Broncos anytime soon. Crap. Well, we'll finish up. When we come back, we're going to get into some NCAA basketball milestones that happened this year. You're listening to With an Ohio Bias Live, the new generation of sports talk radio, ScoreOnAir.com.
This is Bob McElligott, the radio voice of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and you're listening to the new generation of sports talk radio, ScoreOnAir.com, The Score.
Listen to ScoreOnAir.com for your chance to win. Every Friday, we will be giving away a prize pack, and here's how you can qualify. Send us a message with your name, phone number, email, and date of birth to our Facebook or Twitter accounts. Just search Your Score on Air, or you can call or text any of our live shows at 614-641-0674 and tell them you want to win. It's that easy. A new winner will be selected every Friday at 7 p.m. This is your home for the new generation of sports talk radio and weekly prize giveaways. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
In a small village in Romania, after the 8th grade, students desiring to attend high school must pay their own way for transportation. From the village of Mociu to Cluj to Apahida, it costs $350 American per year per child for the bus ride of over 1 hour each way. With your help, 8 Roma children will be able to accomplish something their parents and grandparents could not do. Most of their parents have not received an elementary education. This year, 3 boys and 5 girls can have that chance to attend high school. Will you help? Please make a donation of whatever you can to help these 8 children get their high school education. Make your donations payable to Worthington Presbyterian Church, 773 North High Street, Worthington, Ohio, 43085, and add on the memo line bus transportation. Your donation will make a dream become a reality.
In the Underground Vault in December, the Black and White New Year's Eve celebration at the DoubleTree Hilton, entertainment by DJ Dommy Huge Steel Styles, Locust Soul Sessions, and hosted by Meek Perry. Celebrate New Year's Eve on your A game. It's the Black and White New Year's Eve celebration, 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. at 175 Hutchinson Avenue, Columbus, Ohio, 43235. For additional information, call 614-622-7952. That's 614-622-7952.
Are you someone who has always dreamed of a career in sports media? The Ohio Media School now offers a 6-month sports emphasis program to prepare you for a whole new career. Whether it's radio or television, play-by-play or production, the Ohio Media School has you covered. You will receive training from professionals that are actually in the industry. The Ohio Media School will get you where you need to be for a successful career in this exciting, expanding field. To schedule a visit, call 614-655-5250 or go to beonair.com. Stop dreaming about a career in sports and make it a reality at the Ohio Media School.
Come out and join us at Flavor 91 for their grand opening. Flavor 91 is located at 5186 East Main Street, Whitehall, Ohio. Flavor 91 is a burger bistro and offers such beverages as beer and wine. Again, the grand opening is September 15, 2016 at 1 p.m. 5186 East Main Street, Whitehall, Ohio. Join us at Flavor 91.
Get the sports you want, when you want. Broadcasting all day and night. You're home for the latest sports news and updates. You're listening to ScoreOnAir.com.
The new generation of sports talk radio. Here's your ScoreOnAir.com Score Center update.
This is Greg Brantmeyer with your Score Center update. The Ohio State men's basketball team will look to get back on track tonight when they host Youngstown State at the Schottenstein Center. The Buckeyes have lost 3 of their last 5 games after starting the season 6-0. They will have 2 more chances at home, including tonight's game and Thursday's game against UNC Asheville, to get back on track before their Big Ten schedule begins. With their win against the Vancouver Canucks on Sunday, Columbus Blue Jackets head coach John Tortorella became the first U.S.-born coach to reach 500 wins. They will be looking for Tort's 501st win and extend their NHL high 9-game game winning streak when they played Los Angeles Kings tonight in Nationwide. LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers will also be in action tonight when they travel to Milwaukee to take on the Bucks. Head coach Tyronn Lue has already announced that starting power forward Kevin Love will sit out tonight's game due to a left knee contusion he suffered in the team's win against the Lakers on Saturday. Even without Love, the Cavs will be looking to avenge their blowout loss to the Bucks from late November. In Monday Night Football, the Carolina Panthers defeated the Washington Redskins 26-15. Washington needed to win out the rest of their season to clinch a spot in the playoffs. With the loss, they no longer control their own destiny and will now need some help to make it into the playoffs. Meanwhile, the defending NFC champion Panthers are still mathematically in the playoff mix, but they will need some help of their own to make it into the big dance. For all your news, scores, and updates, keep it locked right here on ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio. The Score.
It's Tuesday afternoon, and you're listening to With an Ohio Bias Live, the new generation of sports talk radio, ScoreOnAir.com. Hey, we're giving away a prize pack. It's a Driven t-shirt, some sunglasses, 2 Sides City Barbecue. All you got to do is give us a call at 614-641-0674. You can call us or you can text us. Just say you want to get entered into the contest. We'll pop your name into the contest, and you will be entered to win. Winner will be picked on Friday evening. Friday evening on Tyson's Punch-Out, our combat sports show. And then you'll be contacted and be like, hey, you want a prize, Piak. Come get it. And then you'll have a prize pack, and it's awesome. So we'll continue our team year-end sports team / group review. We left off with Super Bowl 50, and we're going to move on to the next real big sporting event in the sports world, which in my opinion is one of the biggest for me, if not the biggest, other than the Memorial, but that's not like big for anybody except me. And that is NCAA championships, men and women. Villanova won this year. I didn't get to spend as much time watching the NCAA games this year as I usually do. I usually watch them like religiously, and I never miss a game. This year I started school and I was doing that kind of stuff, so I had to miss some games. I didn't even get to watch the championship game, which kind of made me a little sad face.
Mm-hmm.
But the UConn women also won.
Again.
And man, I don't know. I mean, you were telling me, dropping some Gino Auriemma knowledge on me earlier, and they're definitely. I mean, I feel like in the public sports eye, when you talk to just people who are into sports but not like into sports.
Mm-hmm.
The UConn women's basketball program doesn't really get the love and the respect that it deserves and the recognition it deserves, because they're doing some great things over there.
Yeah, it's one of those where you always talk about, who are the greatest coaches, and you hear Popovich, in terms of basketball and different things like that, but you never hear Auriemma. You just don't hear about him unless they're talking about women's basketball. So it's almost kind of like a side thing, in women's basketball it'd be Auriemma, but you never hear it just in terms of coaching in general. I looked up some of his his career stats because I was just curious. He's coached 31 years at UConn. His overall record is 955 and 134 for an 87% win percentage. That's the best all time.
It's amazing.
He's the 4th coach to hit the 900 win mark, and he did it in 900 fewer games than any other coach.
Also amazing. That's great.
Or something which is just absurd. And I think since he's in his time at UConn, he's won 11 national titles, 17 Final Four appearances, 6 perfect seasons, and 43 combined conference titles, including 10 of the last 12 tournament titles. He's had a 90-game win streak, and he's on an 85-game win streak currently, including the 9 games this season, and 4 consecutive titles the last 4 years. I think UConn as a whole has 22 30-win seasons, and they've had 21 of the past 23. That's just 30 wins each season. It's just absurd. Like, the amount of winning that he does, and that's not even let alone his Olympic coaching and everything else he's done, too, over the last 2 Olympics, I think.
I mean, that's just unreal. And, like, you know, there's a whole, well, the coach doesn't make the team makes the team, blah, blah, blah. It's the players.
No.
But I think not in this case, especially not in something like college basketball, where you're not playing with, you know, you don't have professional athletes. You did, you know, you did scout these players from high school, but, you know, it's 4 years. There's a lot of, like, physical changes, like growth, you know, between when you would get scouted and when you actually leave, to not only go out and find these correct players, which, you know, as opposed to building an NBA team, you have a pool to choose from when you're building an NBA team, but you pull it out of people who have already been weeded out from a larger pool. So to just find all these women and build these teams and be consistent year after year after year, have that kind of record and put up those kind of numbers, that right there shows you that, yeah, a coach can make a team, and a coach he's good at everything that he does, and it's just unbelievable. Respect, nothing but mad respect.
Yeah, it's something absurd. I know, again, especially in like women's basketball, it's kind of one of those where you can name the few teams that are just good every single year. So you could argue that there's more better teams in men's basketball than there is in women's, but it still doesn't matter. You still have to win. So, but he does it each and every year, and that's why I thought it was absurd this year. When I know they graduated some players, but they were like 3rd or 4th in the preseason ranks. Like, I'm sorry, if you went perfect last season, or on a 4 straight national title streak, you're 1 until. I was, you know, amazed that they weren't the preseason number 1 ranked, but they're back there now, to no one's surprise. But it's amazing, yeah, how he's transformed that. And even the men's basketball's done better because of that as well, because it was just that recognition and that awareness that he brings to the whole University of Connecticut. So what he's done there is great things. Yeah, a true legend.
Penguins won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, no, I was joking about that earlier when I read it on the paper, and I was just like, I forgot they won the Stanley Cup. I'm not a big hockey fan. I've made that clear on this show and other shows before. Yeah. But I just usually am still pretty up to date with that. I can at least name you the champion, but I could not for the life of me remember the Penguins winning it until I read it on this sheet right here.
Yeah, hockey is, I like hockey, but it's not something that I go out of my way to follow unless it's the Blue Jackets, and that's just because the Blue Jackets are local. They're usually on Friday nights, so I watch them. I go over to my uncle's house, and we'll flip between the Blue Jackets and whatever NBA game is on, if the Cavs are playing, or we'll find another game and watch. But I would say I'm more of a Blue Jackets follower than a hockey follower. I probably should follow hockey so I can know the Blue Jackets opponents a little bit better, get, you know, an idea of who they should be playing good against, who's a good team, you know, but I just don't. I always want to. Like, I want to get more into it, but for whatever reason it always just falls by the wayside. But, you know, yeah, so go Penguins, I guess, if you're into that. I don't know. Christopher and Jonathan, that one was for you. And then, of course, the Cavs won a little thing this year.
Yeah, just a little one.
Yeah. The NBA championship Cavs. I'll talk a little bit more like about my top, you know, team moments of 2016 at the end of the show. But this all-time life sporting moments, probably my favorite so far for me. It was just so... The finals were just so emotion-filled, and it was such a good story. I mean, you said it earlier, like, you couldn't script it better at all. And the emotion, I know that I felt, and my friends felt, and my family felt like I watched, every finals game with friends or family or both all together, and it was like an event, and it was all, the day of, Game 7. I was in Cleveland. It was the day after a wedding, and we were at brunch. We were talking Cavs game, and then we'd talk about something else, and we'd go back to Cavs, and it was like, oh, it's 6 hours till tip off, and just watching the games, and jumping out of your seat, cheering and yelling, and when it happened, like I cried. I'll admit it. I mean, I know another one of my friends cried. It's that feeling of exhilaration, and LeBron redeemed himself. LeBron redeemed himself to me like last year when he got to the finals. But I was still kind of sketchy on him. But seeing how winning a championship for the city of Cleveland affected him really changed kind of scrubbed away the last of the ill will I had towards him.
Mm-hmm. See, I'm almost kind of on the opposite side of that. Not totally the opposite side, but like I was new to just sports in general. So my first year watching sports was the first year LeBron was in Cleveland, or I'm sorry, in Miami. So I didn't have the tie to Cleveland and the Cavs like everyone else did in the past. So I kind of rooted for him while he was with the Heat. And so, and me being a big basketball fan, that was the sport and the team I followed, the closest. So I, quote unquote, winning since I've been really watching sports. And so I'm really jealous I don't have that sheer just feeling of just winning. Like you said, you're a Cavs fan and Cleveland fan your whole life, and finally when that happened, it's just like the peak of just this is all that is good. So like even when I was rooting for Miami, it was cool seeing them win, and I was excited when they won. I was still excited when they won with the Cavs too, and I was excited too. I was standing up in my seats. I couldn't sit down during the final few seconds of the game and everything else, just so excited. But I wish I had the feeling of just rooting for one team the entirety of my life, and then they finally get to that point, and then that just pure ecstasy of that moment is something that I haven't had yet. Like, even though my teams have won some championships, but it's just not the same since I haven't been following sports that long, and I've been accustomed to rooting for LeBron the last 6 years or so. But but yeah, so I'm kind of jealous I don't have that, but I can see that. I mean, I have some friends who are big Cavs fans. I know they didn't really like LeBron going to Miami anyway, but I think, him coming back, especially getting to the finals twice, and then winning it the way they did win it last year, it's hard for them to have that ill will and that negative outlook. They don't like LeBron those 4 years, obviously, when he was gone, but I think they're excited to have him back and excited that feeling that him being back and what he means to the city and means to the team and what he's been able to do is enough to, get them excited for LeBron and the Cavs again.
Yeah, I know I am. We got to take a break. We come back, we will continue our year-end retrospective of team and group sporting events right here on With an Ohio Bias, the new generation of sports talk radio, ScoreOnAir.com.
Football is back, and the Score has you covered. Are you ready for some football? The new generation of sports talk radio breaks down every game, every week.
Are you ready for some football?
Only on ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
Hey guys, Matty Ice here, proud alum of the Ohio Media School. Get the training you need to get a job you will love. The Ohio Media School has classes in radio, television, sports broadcasting, and film and video production. Visit BeOnAir.com today to get started. That's BeOnAir.com.
NWA Midwest Championship Wrestling is looking for interns. Have you heard of Ric Flair? Well, this is the company that brought you Ric Flair before he went to the WWE, and we're looking for interns to work behind the scenes hand in hand with production, with audio, with video, and with podcasts and radio. Contact Damon Dury, the big dog, at 740-971-3968.
Nasty Sports Bar in Reynoldsburg is under new management. Located at 6150 East Main Street, the home for Taco Tuesday is rejuvenated and the home for great food and family fun. Nasty Sports Bar is a great place for happy hour, serving $2 domestics, $3 glasses of wine, and $5 appetizers, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call 614-864-2827 to find out the daily specials. Nasty's. Great food, family fun with a cool name.
Hey guys, Scott Shelton here again, campus director for the Ohio Media School. Are you looking for a career in media, radio, television, sports broadcasting, or film and video production? You need to come check out the Ohio Media School's Columbus campus. You want a job that you will love, and we have the training to get you started. Stop by the Ohio Media School's audio and video studios to check out the opportunities and internships that we have for our students and graduates. Call 614-655-5250 or visit beonair.com. That's beonair.com.
The new generation of sports talk radio. Here's your ScoreOnAir.com Score Center update.
This is Greg Brantmeyer with your Score Center update. The Ohio State men's basketball team will look to get back on track tonight when they host Youngstown State at the Schottenstein Center. The Buckeyes have lost 3 of their last 5 games after starting the season 6-0. They will have 2 more chances at home, including tonight's game and Thursday's game against UNC Asheville, to get back on track before their Big Ten schedule begins. With their win against the Vancouver Canucks on Sunday, Columbus Blue Jackets head coach John Tortorella became the first U.S.-born coach to reach 500 wins. They will be looking for Tort's 501st win and extend their NHL-high 9-game winning streak when they play Los Angeles Kings tonight in Nationwide. LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers will also be in action tonight when they travel to Milwaukee to take on the Bucks. Head coach Tyronn Lue has already announced that starting power forward Kevin Love will sit out tonight's game due to a left knee contusion he suffered in the team's win against the Lakers on Saturday. Even without Love, the Cavs will be looking to avenge their blowout loss to the Bucks from late November. In Monday Night Football, the Carolina Panthers defeated the Washington Redskins 26-15. Washington needed to win out the rest of their season to clinch a spot in the playoffs. With the loss, they no longer control their own destiny and will now need some help to make it into the playoffs. Meanwhile, the defending NFC champion Panthers are still mathematically in the playoff mix, but they will need some help of their own to make it into the big dance. For all your news, scores, and updates, keep it locked right here on ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio. The Score.
Your nails won't break and your toes won't stub. You never get a fever when there ain't no hole in the wash tub. If you look to the good side, falling down's a free ride. Slipping and a sliding in the mud. If your back is hurting, I can say for certain I'll be there to treat you to a soothing back rub.
Do you know what this is from, Greg?
I do not.
Okay, it's not strictly a Christmas song, but it's from this Jim Henson short Christmas special called Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. It came out in 1977. I watched it when I was very small, and I had forgotten about it until I started dating my husband about 16 years ago. And it was a Christmas tradition in his family, and so when he showed it to me, I was just like, first of all, this is the cutest thing I have ever freaking seen. And second of all, it's like adorable that you love this, because he was like this sort of like alternative, like big burly, like with a ponytail, beard, like alternative, like hipster kind of cool guy. And he had this soft spot in his heart for this little like fuzzy, cute little Christmas Jim Henson special. And it's like 77, so it's like really early Henson. So it's all the strings on the puppets, but it's all handmade. All the sets are like hand built. They don't make things like this anymore. And it was like a sort of a musical. Well, it was a musical about this Emmett and his mom, who are these really like poor, broke otters. Like the otter dad died. You never see him, but you know they're scraping pennies together. And there's a music they both play music, the mom and the son, and they enter this music contest separate from each other to try to win money to buy each other Christmas gifts. I'm starting to get choked up about it. Like, it's just ridiculous how like cute and sweet Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas is. And not many people know it, but when you find that person that knows it, that gets it, it's just like, yeah, Emmett Otter. So, yeah, not strictly a Christmas song, but the music makes me think of Christmas. That's why I threw it on this sounder. You're listening to With an Ohio Bias Live Tuesday edition here on ScoreOnAir.com. I'm Aaron.
Good man, Greg.
And we continue our team/group retrospective of 2016. We left off at the Cleveland Championship. I could talk about that for another whole segment, but let's move on, shall we? One last thing about I was sad that I did not get to go to the parade. because I had my very first ever show on Score on Air on that day that had been planned for like weeks. And I thought about skipping, but I was like, nope, can't skip it. I'll go to the next one. So hopefully there will be a next one. So moving on from there, the Olympics happened this summer in Rio. Did you watch much Olympics?
Yeah, I like the Olympics. I don't know why. I really like the Olympics. So when they're on, I want to watch as much as possible. So I didn't watch as much as I probably really wanted to because my one roommate, she kind of, when she gets home, she usually pops Netflix on or kind of watches the TV. And so I didn't want to hog it every single day just to watch the Olympics, but I watched a good bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just watch random events that like I don't really care about, but I just watch it because it's the Olympics and it's weird, but.
No, I understand because I get caught up in that too, real easy. My favorite summer Olympic event is probably swimming or basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But I super got into gymnastics this year for some reason, which has never happened to me before. I don't know if it was Simone Biles or what, but man, she had some great moments. And of course, USA basketball. I made it a point to always try to watch that, no matter where I was. Even if I was out doing something or if I was working and I was in a restaurant picking up food for somebody while I was at my job, I would always try to find a TV and make it a point to try to watch the USA basketball team, men's or women's. Even though, LeBron didn't go and Steph Curry didn't go. And they received a lot of flack for that from some people, and I don't get why they received a lot of flack for that. It goes back to the resting conversation, you know? Like, it's like, LeBron and Steph just played in, like, the best NBA championship series in the history of NBA championship series. Get off their backs. Also, I'm a Cavs fan. I want LeBron to be rested for next year.
Yeah. It's not his first rodeo. He's been to 3 already. A couple gold medals, so he doesn't need another.
Yeah. And, God, remember that? Was it Melo that said gold medals are better than...
Yeah, it was Melo.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah, that was a joke. That's because he knows he's not going to win an NBA title, and he's like the record holder for most career medals in a USA basketball player because he has 3 golds and 4 overall, and so he's like the only one who could say that. So he's just like, yeah, of course golds mean the most, and he can say that because he's never going to sniff an NBA championship. Agreed.
He's he just has to keep telling himself that, right? And then maybe to wrap up the summer, the World Series. Now, we all know who won the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
The Cubs. The Cubs. Arguably the most, I think right now, in any sports, and I still think right now, even though baseball season's over and this happened 2 months ago, I still think right now Cubs is the most bandwagon-y team, like, in all of major sports. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like that Cubs bandwagon, it's all big and shiny and it's rolling down the hill. Here it comes rumbling down the hill and everybody across the country is jumping on the Cubs bandwagon, because it's a good story. Yeah, whatever. I'm a Tribe fan, so. But I got the World Series that I wanted to get. I think back in July, I think it was on here on Tuesday, a Tuesday edition of Bias. I was like, Cubs Indians. It's going to be it. And if the Indians didn't make the World Series and the Cubs did, I was going to root for the Cubs.
Okay.
Because I know what it's like to not have championships.
No, I would probably agree with you there. I was trying to think of another bandwagon-y team. And like the one that came to my mind, like I thought maybe the Cavs, since they're another one of those kind of losing stories and whatnot. But I also thought the Warriors are pretty bandwagon-y too, just with Steph and the way they play and everything else. But I still don't think it would add up to the Cubs level.
Yeah,
and just I can't even really think of a football team either. And
football, I think maybe Cowboys with how they're playing right now.
Yeah,
like right at this particular moment in time, and that's kind of I felt like what you saw with the Cubs, like towards the end of the season, as they kind of ramped up and got, farther and farther into the playoffs and then into the series. People sporting their, I'd see people out at bars sporting shiny new Cubs hats. It's like, that's a new hat.
I guess the reason a lot of it, too, is probably just the hype that comes around it. So the Cubs got all that hype because they got off to that great start last year.
Yeah.
And then they ended the season really strong. The same way the Warriors won 73 games last year, so the media and all the hype was around them. And I think that's why I'm thinking the same way with the Cowboys now. They're getting all the media hype, one, because they've only lost 2 games, but also with Zeke being, now the Cowboys rookie rushing leader for a season and everything else, like how they play and how they have rookies leading the team. And I think all the media hype around them, that's what I'm thinking in terms of bandwagony.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, I agree with you there. I agree with you about the Warriors, too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily know that with the Warriors, I don't think we see it as much here in Ohio because everybody likes the Cavs and, does the Cavs bandwagon thing. But I think nationally, sure. Yeah, I would agree with you about the Warriors, too. I don't know. Do you think the Warriors has really sustained it this year?
Not so far this year, mainly because I think it still could have been the same if they didn't add Durant. And Durant kind of like threw a wrench into things because they're just like, we'll see. They are playing really well. They have the best record in the league. They're scoring the most points in the league and everything else. And so I think it's still kind of there, but I think they're kind of more the villain now. More than they are kind of like the shiny bandwagony team. So that's why I'd have a hard time not putting the Cubs first on that list.
Yeah. How about that tribe, though? Man, proud of my tribe. Sad. I was extremely, extremely devastated after that World Series Game 7. Like, they did the opposite of the Cavs. They had the 3-1 lead and lost it. And I couldn't talk about it for a few days. I'll admit it. And, I know people say, well, you shouldn't let sports affect you that much, and normally it doesn't, but, man, we were right. We were right there.
Especially since you rallied in the game, and then the rain delay just messed everything up. And it's just like, if you didn't rally, if you were to get smoked in the 7th game, it'd still be bad because you had the 3-1 lead and only needed one more game. But, yeah, if you would have got smoked in the 7th, but you didn't, you were down and came back, and then you got down and came back, and then eventually you were rallying and tied it and sent it to extras, and then all of a sudden, one rain delay. Yeah,
it's exactly what it was. It was just we could taste it. It was right there. Dang, we gotta go. We'll be back in about 4 minutes to finish up this team year-end wrap-up. You're listening to With an Ohio Bias Live, the new generation of sports talk radio. ScoreOnAir.com.
Football is back, and the Score has you covered. The new generation of sports talk radio breaks down every game, every week.
Are you ready for some football?
Only on ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
Are you a sports fan looking to expand your sports memorabilia collection? Well, First and Goal has you covered better than the Ohio State secondary. First and Goal is your #1 place to find all the sports collectibles of your dreams. We are located at Polaris Fashion Place in Columbus and the mall at Fairfield Commons of Beaver Creek. Stop on in and you'll find autographed jerseys, helmets, photographs, and much more that will make you the envy of the neighborhood. Feel free to give us a call at 614-896-1016 for our store at Polaris, or call us at 937-427-4737 in Beaver Creek. For all your sports collectibles and more, it's First and Goal.
Listen to ScoreOnAir.com for your chance to win. Every Friday, we will be giving away a prize pack, and here's how you can qualify. Send us a message with your name, phone number, email, and date of birth to our Facebook or Twitter accounts. Just search Your Score on Air, or you can call or text any of our live shows at 614-641-0674 and tell them you want to win. It's that easy. A new winner will be selected every Friday at 7 p.m. This is your home for the new generation of sports talk radio and weekly prize giveaways. ScoreOnAir.com. The Score.
Hey guys, Scott Shelton here again, Campus Director for the Ohio Media School. Are you looking for a career in media, radio, television, sports broadcasting, or film and video production? You need to come check out the Ohio Media School's Columbus campus. You want a job that you will love, and we have the training to get you started. Stop by the Ohio Media School's audio and video studios to check out the opportunities and internships that we have for our students and graduates. Call 614-655-5250 or visit beonair.com. That's beonair.com.
Tune into the League with Taylor and Greg every Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. on ScoreOnAir.com. It's your home for stupid sound effects, lukewarm sports takes, and a bunch of people talking about nothing.
Is that a thing?
I think it's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
We're
Gotta
gonna
make it a thing.
We're gonna make it a thing. I don't care. It's a thing now.
Only on the league, right here on ScoreOnAir.com, the new generation of sports talk radio, The Score.
Are you someone who has always dreamed of a career in sports media? The Ohio Media School now offers a 6-month sports emphasis program to prepare you for a whole new career. Whether it's radio or television, play-by-play or production, the Ohio Media School has you covered. You will receive training from professionals that are actually in the industry. The Ohio Media School will get you where you need to be for a successful career in this exciting, expanding field. To schedule a visit, call 614-655-5250 or go to beonair.com. Stop dreaming about a career in sports and make it a reality at the Ohio Media School.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus. You're as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year from everybody over here at With an Ohio Bias. You're listening to the Tuesday version. It's the new generation of sports talk radio, ScoreOnAir.com. Guess what?
What?
The Score wants to make you a winner. Each week, ScoreOnAir.com is giving away a prize pack. Like us on Facebook, and every Monday, we will pin a post to the top of our feed with that week's prize and all of the contest details. How to enter, you say? Well, message us on Facebook or Twitter at Your Score on Air. Give us your name, phone number, email, and your date of birth, or your mom's date of birth, or whatever. Or call or text us any one of our live shows while we're on there. That phone number is 614-641-0674. Phone number again, 614-641-0674. And just say you want to qualify to win that pack. A new winner is picked every week at 7 o'clock on our combat show, Tyson's Punch-Out. Just give us a call or text to get qualified on your home for the new generation of sports talk radio and weekly prize giveaways, ScoreOnAir.com. Okay, so we've been talking about team wrap-ups of the year and things that happened this year. So let's just have some real quick toss-off questions about this year and perhaps next year. 2016 Browns going to go down as the worst Browns ever. What do you think?
I don't even know what to think. I mean, I would say yes at this point. Because at least early in the season, they kept things close, but now they're not even keeping things close, and they're just losing every single game by like 14 points or more. So, yeah I would agree with that.
They have not allowed fewer than 23 points this season, so go Browns. Will Marvin Lewis have the same job in 2017?
This is such a hard question.
Isn't it,
I think
though?
he will, though, for one more season.
What, you think they're going to give him one more season?
Yeah. Because like he has one more year in his contract. He had a lot of injuries this year, just across the board, with Giovanni Bernard and Eifert and A.J. Green missing a lot of time. And I know they lost some receivers anyway, and Hugh Jackson left, which all hurt him. So I just think they're going to let him finish his contract and then just not extend it.
I'm not even a Bengals fan, and I'm sick of Marvin Lewis.
They have a very good chance at doing it, so I'm not ready to say they will. It's those where Ohio State was too iffy and Alabama's looked too good. So if I were to bet, as much as I would want Ohio State to win, I feel like I would bet with Bama. But if Ohio State, the caveat is if Ohio State can play Ohio State the way they can, I think they can. I'm not ready to say they will.
Okay, so you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, I'm trying not to be safe, but I have a hard time not picking Bama, even though I want to pick the Buckeyes.
Yeah, me too. But I'm taking the Buckeyes all the way. I'm going to be that blind, raging optimist. Just go Buckeyes. Will we be talking about a Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl win at this time next year?
My guess is no.
Ooh.
I don't think they're going to. I think Dak's eventually going to show he's a rookie in the playoffs and have a bad game, just one single bad game and lose. Whether it's in the Super Bowl to like
first
the
round.
Patriots, yeah. Or it's like, after they get their first round bye and lose to like the Seahawks or something like that. I think. Yeah. I don't think they're going to win.
I don't either. But it would be a heck of a thing to see, though.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly just for Zeke, because I like Zeke so much. I'm not bandwagoning the Cowboys. I'm not a Cowboys fan. I am a Zeke fan.
Mm-hmm.
Always have been. Goes back to that 20, I guess. This is called the 2015 championship, but it was for the 2014 season. So 2014-2015 championship season. Zeke won my heart there. So looking back on this, what was your favorite team sports moment of 2016?
I feel like that's a pretty easy answer, especially for us in this room right now. I think, and for reasons we already said, it would be the Cavs, not just because for multiple reasons why, basketball is my favorite sport and watching the Cavs, win and LeBron hoisting another trophy. But I think it's the overall storyline that really makes me want to choose them. Like I was telling you earlier, because you know how sometimes when they make movies about things, they change facts and they're just like, okay, we're going to change this and make it better. I don't know what else you could change to make that story better. There's really nothing. So to me, it's almost like a perfectly written, but not written, just happen to play out type of storyline. So I think that's what really makes it number one in my heart for this year. Not just because it was the Cavs, but it was just the entirety of the storyline surrounding it.
I'm gonna agree with you, but sort of. Mine is that for me, and this just is gonna surprise you here. That for me is almost 1.5 on my list. This is gonna be surprising for a lot of people, and I know a lot of people will disagree with me. And you know what? Disagree. I don't care. And it's weird that I picked this as my favorite team sports moment of all time because I was talking earlier about how sad it made me. Indians in the World Series is my favorite sports moment of all the year. Even though they lost, I really, really and I've seen the Indians in the World Series in my lifetime before. I have never seen them win one because it's been since 1948. However, of the Indians teams I've seen in the series, this is my favorite team. I love this, the guys on this team so much. They got, Frankie Lindor, Jason Kipnis, who's my favorite player on the team. I like to go with semi-stars as my favorite players. I don't know why. I always do. I think we got a really good starting rotation. Most of these guys are coming back. I hope they're able to re-sign Napoli. I don't know if they're going to or not, but he was a key piece. But I had so much fun watching this team and watching the World Series, even though they lost. That last game was up and down. Like you said, they weren't winning, then they came back, then they fell behind, then they came back. The ups and downs, and just the whole event of the World just watching them in the World Series, it was event viewing. It was something special, and I think that was my favorite moment, team moment of 2016. Which is unconventional that you pick a losing thing as your favorite, but it was.
Mm-hmm. The next question you're about to ask is your least favorite.
You're absolutely right.
That's one that I'm sitting over here really struggling because I was trying to think of just everything. Since I'm not a big football fan, or I don't have a specific team in the NFL, I was rooting for Peyton. So when he won it, that wouldn't really be my least favorite. Don't really pay attention to hockey, so I didn't want to make that my least favorite because I don't know enough about it. Obviously, basketball went my way. The World Series did get me wanting to watch baseball more going into next season. And so we'll see if that gets me going. So, obviously I was rooting for the Indians, but that didn't affect me the same way obviously it affected you, among other people, especially here in the studio. So just going back to one individual moment, it's going to be a loss, but it's going to be the Michigan State loss the Ohio State Buckeyes took to Michigan. To Michigan State, last season, not this season, last season.
Yeah.
And just watching their kicker, run around after he made the game-winning kick with his arm twirling around, and just knowing that, shoot, that's the one team we couldn't lose to, because now they only had one loss as well. They had the tiebreaker, and they represented the Big Ten in the Final Four, and then got smoked.
That's a damn good one.
Yeah,
that's a good bad moment.
That was just a rough one where it was just man,
it was a really rough loss. Yeah, you're right.
And the way we lost, I know we didn't feed Zeke that much because he was hospitalized earlier in the week, and we weren't sure how much we could run on him, or just use him without overusing him, but we just don't play well against them for whatever reason.
Yeah, and it kind of continued over into this year, and we saw some of that team. Well, obviously not that exact team, but that I don't want to say hopelessness or helplessness, but like I felt that multiple times this year watching the Buckeyes.
Mm-hmm.
And against Michigan State again this year. It was just like, oh, this again.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah, that's why I'm not totally on board with saying the Buckeyes will win, because I felt that same feeling one couple too many times this year.
Yeah. My 2 least favorite moments, team moments of 2016 was, well, I was going to pick the Buckeyes as well, but I was going to say the Penn State game this year. It's not as there's not as much sting as the Michigan State game from last year, because we did indeed make the playoff, regardless of that loss. But that's a game we should have won, and then we would have been in the championship, and there wouldn't have been the question of should they be there or should they not have been there. And then just because it's the Browns. The Browns record.
Yeah, I thought about saying them, but I was like, nah.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
bad, everyone. And I guess me over here I'm almost sorry. I'm going to apologize right now, because I was thinking the NFL, how it bleeds into like the start of the next year.
Yeah.
How like it'll technically be 2017. I'm over here thinking, I guess that Michigan State game wouldn't have been in 2016.
it wasn't. That's okay. I wasn't going to call you out on it.
But I was thinking the same way it did in the NFL, but it doesn't. But
it's okay.
Because like I thought about the Penn State game too, but I was like, that's not the same.
Yeah.
Like, it just didn't have the same feeling, because like it was a bad loss, but losing to the team, like the one singular team, which happened to be the same thing. We happened to lose to the one singular team we couldn't lose to.
Yeah.
But at the time, you didn't know that.
Right.
But
yeah.
So I guess mine was just a complete waste, but it's all good.
It's okay. I didn't call you out on it. It was.
I did.
It feels like yesterday, at least to me.
It felt like early in the year, I guess. Mainly because it affected us, because like the championship would have been into January, and like if we would have won, we could have been there. And
yeah, and the Michigan State game on New Year's Eve was like, out like 6 hours before the New Year. So
yeah, I just basically, because I chose that, I don't really have a total least favorite part of this year.
Okay, I counted your answer. Your answer counts.
Okay,
I'll
cool.
accept it.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, we got to get out of here. Thank you for listening, everybody. This has been With an Ohio Bias, live on ScoreOnAir.com.
You're listening to the home of heart-pounding, adrenaline-pumping sports. Broadcasting from Ohio Media School in the greatest city in the state.